This is your place for all things Grand Rapids Griffins and all things Toledo Walleye. This is the Hockeytown West podcast with your hosts, Brandon Cook, Nick Harrington, and Travis Foch.
Kids are legit.
Good, the kids are legit. What a win by the Red Wings today. We're recording this on Sunday, right after the Wings played. And boy, oh boy, are the vibes good there.
Vibes are really good there. I did not expect them to win this game today, to be honest.
No, I honestly didn't either. I was wondering if the streak would stay alive, and it did. And on the back of 2 Emmett Finney goals.
Yeah, man, it's unreal how he's playing this year. 5 points in 6 games. I don't think anybody's seen that coming. I know I didn't.
No, what was it? 8 points today from the Larkin, Raymond, Finney line?
It was a lot.
Something like that. It's insane. It's good for him. Now MBN's just got to get that first goal. He's the last one.
Yeah.
He was close a couple times.
I think I think he's going to end up probably scoring the most of the 3 kids, but it's just going to be, he just needs one to go, and I think they're going to come in bunches.
Like, if he would have nailed his first today, too, that arena would have exploded.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have him 5-1 after 6 games, I'll tell you that.
No, I don't think many people did, except Max Boltman, apparently.
Yeah. Props to him, because I didn't see that coming.
He had them winning 5 of their first 6. So I'm like, congrats to him. The guy can see the future. Can you give me tomorrow's lotto numbers, too?
Yeah. Can I get the Powerball numbers?
Yeah, for real. Well, welcome back, everyone, to the Hockeytown West podcast, and it's another Toledo Walleye update because the Fish have finally played hockey. It's finally happening. I know it doesn't feel like it because they won't be at home until November, but death, taxes, and the Walleye starting on the road, right?
Yeah, they don't get home games in October. It's just pretty much a standard thing at this point.
Which is funny because when we talked to Dan Watson over the weekend, he's like, I love when we start on the road. And I'm like, I wonder why you love that, Dan, because you're so used to it.
Right. It's all you've had for the last 10 years.
But a road trip brings the guys together, and you can see it every year in Toledo. You can see it in Grand Rapids already this year. So it's good to see that. But we've got one game to talk about. Any news and updates headed into this game since the last time we talked about the Fish?
No, just a couple like minor transactions, daily stuff, but nothing major. Oh, well, they did claim another Tanner. I guess we could say that.
Collecting Tanners like Infinity Stones out here.
Man, I'll tell you, it is crazy how many Tanners that we have acquired on this team this year. Tanner Edwards. I when I seen it, I was kind of surprised. I didn't know like what to. I don't know what to expect. He didn't play this weekend, but I was like, really, another? Like, we just waived a guy and now we pick up a guy. So I don't know. Hey.
Making moves here and there.
I don't question Pat at this point.
No, you're not allowed to question Pat Mickish when it comes to building a roster. I will not allow you to question that until he proves otherwise at this point.
Okay, well, it's just me, as you guys can see, and there's a reason for that. The guys are busy, and there was a bit of news. Obviously, we recorded on Sunday. It is now Wednesday, and some news broke. So with the news, Colin Sawyer suspended for 3 games. That will include the 2 at Bloomington and the home opener. So being that the guys are busy and it's just me, I don't want to bore you with my thoughts and then get their thoughts next week. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to talk in depth about this suspension and the play in a much further detail next week in the Toledo update. And you will hear in the game review, we touch on it a little bit, but in depth wise, you're going to get more analysis on all of this next week when the guys are back.
One game to talk about too, which is weird. You think ECHL, you're like, all right, it's 3-3 to start the season, right?
Yeah, I'm thankful for that. It was nice to just have 1 and then next weekend I'll have 2 and then, we're back to normal. But if you're hearing this and we didn't point out any news, that's because, like Brandon said, we recorded this on Sunday. So
yes, yeah, if you're free up some time later in the week, it's early in the season. We need a little bit of a break already up here in Grand Rapids. Lots going on around here, and why not take advantage of a Sunday evening when the Lions aren't playing and just go for it? So here we are, and we're gonna dive into this game, starting the season on the road, like we said, in Indy. and they come away with a big win. But Travis, as you alluded, it didn't start off looking like a win.
The end result was great, but how they got there maybe wasn't the way they wanted to get there, I would say. I didn't think they played their best game at all by any means, especially the first maybe 2 periods. Probably weren't their best periods of play. Not a lot of shots, not a lot of offense. You could tell guys were still trying to get to know one each other out there, which I think, if I remember right, I think Pat even told us in his interview that like he was treating October as our preseason, if I remember him saying that, so, which I can understand. A lot of new faces, a lot of new guys playing new roles, stuff like that, guys that haven't played with each other. So it was a very interesting game. And like I said, not much to really go on other than like until the third period, just not a lot happening. I loved Will Hillman absolutely laying a dude out in the first period. Dude smoked that guy behind the net.
Yeah, he really, really did. Like, I was like, you sent that in the group chat while we were at the Griffins game, and I was just like, oh, that's how we're starting. I looked at Nick and I go, the Chaz Radicop effect.
Well, then Darby grabbed, somebody wanted to fight Will, and I mean, it was a clean hit, so I didn't, that's one thing I don't like is like how guys want to always fight somebody after clean hits. That really is getting annoying in hockey. But then Darby came across the ice and got into a fight against his former team. So, yeah, again, he makes his presence known, which the fans will love that, see a guy come across the ice and grab a guy and go. So fans will be happy to see that. And then Nolan Moyle got absolutely smoked right in front of the penalty box. Like another like clean hit. He just happened to, get the puck and was turning and just turned into a guy. And unfortunate, but he was fine, stayed in the game. And Carter kept him in it early with some saves, kept him in it in the second period. And then that match penalty, it was just like, as soon as
walk me through what happened here, because obviously I didn't get to watch this game in its entirety.
When the hit happened, I was like, that's a penalty. And they didn't call a penalty right away. And I was like, really? Like, they're not going to call that. So what happened was this guy's coming down the ice and Sawyer's coming back and he's like coming through the slot and the guy is right-handed going to like shoot the puck. I'm pretty sure he was right-handed. And Sawyer like clipped him across the front of him, right? So it looked really bad, like really bad. In full speed, it looked really bad. I don't know like exactly. I'd have to go back and look how much of like head contact there was. Probably just, again, one of those things to where like they all got together, made a call. I think it was probably the correct call. You don't want to, get carried away with a game getting out of control the first weekend of the season over something like that. The weird thing about this is they threw Ernst out. They had the wrong number initially. So like Ernst was in the locker room and then he got to come back and then they had to get Sawyer out. And like, just an unfortunate play. Like, I don't think Sawyer was trying to kill the guy or like take his head off. I think he was aiming for the shoulder, and just with the way that it happened, I think he clipped like the front of his head. And when you're off balance like that, any contact, it's going to look really bad. That was like a key moment in the game, right? There's like 7 minutes left in the second period, I think, when this happened. It was towards the end of the period, I'm pretty sure. Not long after that, Indy takes a penalty and takes 2 minutes right back off the board. So 2 of it's gone. And then Toledo scored shorthanded with Darby Llewellyn getting a redirection in front. So they made the most out of a bad situation. And like they killed off the rest and took a 1-0 lead into the third period. And honestly, at that point, I was like, oh my God, this is another like Fort Wayne, we're robbing the bank type game. But you know what? First game of the year, I didn't really care. And then third period, they finally got the power play to work. A beautiful play, like Hawkins is coming up the ice. He flips it over to Moyle. And right at the blue line, Moyle hits Smirnov, who just goes right through everybody and scores. Beautiful goal. Good to see Smirnov get on the board early. Cool to see Moyle playing on the power play. I think that's a new piece this year. Last year in the playoffs, he's playing down in the lineup a little bit. So he's getting an expanded role this year. And then the other Smirnov goal was just like all effort, right? Like they win the face-off, they get it back to the point, goes over, shot, and then it gets through the goaltender. And Smirnov was like in the bottom of the face-off circle along the goal line. And the puck just fell in behind the goalie. Like it's just sitting in the crease. And Smirnov just went over and literally just like He didn't even have to shoot. He just tapped it in. And then the Nolan Moyle goal, like, that was gross.
Yeah,
As
this
gross
goal
as
was
it gets.
disgusting. Before we get to him, though, I want to talk about Smirnov. You know, those 2 goals there, like you said, it's good to see him get on the score sheet early. And it just seems like this guy just knows how to go where the puck is.
Yeah, he's a good player. He was a good player for Norfolk last year. And I still would love to know from Pat how that trade worked, because we sent Anderson's rights to Idaho and we got Smirnov, who was with Norfolk the year before. I'd love to figure out how that happened. But either way, this is why you kind of make the trade, right? They kind of needed that top line center, and he's going to play that role from what it looks like. And he was effective all night, I thought, especially in the third period. He really came on as the game goes. And again, this is going back to, you got two guys that have never played with Hawkins before. They're all trying to, get a feel for everybody. And, well, a preseason game or 2 in there, but you don't really know until you start going, right? And I thought he played really well. They're going to lean on that line quite a bit, I think. But I thought he was very productive. I thought he, like you said, he goes to the gritty areas. He got in there. He showed his speed on the first goal he scored. He's got playmaking creativity. So he's going to be a fan favorite just off of his playmaking ability.
It is good to see like them start to click up there. Obviously, it's going to be a growing period, right? It's a new roster, a lot of new faces, and as Pat alluded to, you kind of just treat October like preseason, so you don't read too much into that stuff. Moyle's goal, I want to talk about more, obviously, because it was just disgusting.
I want to talk about
that. It could be in
line.
ESPN's top 10.
Oh, easily.
Like that today.
Yeah. We got to start with the line, though. Yeah, that line's going to be fun. Hillebrand, Dickinson, and Moyle was together. You got size, you got speed, you got playmaking, a little bit of everything. And obviously they weren't all on the ice in this instance because it was a shorthanded goal, but holy cow, what a what a play by Moyle. Like 2-on-1 like that. When he went wide, I was like, he's going to try to tuck it. And then he tucked it, went right back around the goalie and tucked it in short side, like just on his backhand too. Like, I think that gets lost in this, that he had to go from his forehand and then do that with his backhand. It's not like it was, remember last year when Johansson did this, when Aljo did it, it was on his forehand, right? When you go back into the middle.
Yep. I remember that.
He's a lefty. So for Moyle being a righty to do it on his backhand, it's a hell of a play. I thought he was all over the ice too, showed his speed, showed his playmaking ability in this play, but
showed his patience on that goal. Like
patience, everything. I mean, it was just a heady play, good player, like just heads up play to do that. And at that point you were like, okay, they got this game. Like they got it.
Yeah. I mean, you look at this and you go, Smirnov twice, Llewellyn gets a goal, Moyle gets a goal. Hawk didn't score a goal and they scored 4. You
Hawk
asked in the season preview. He did. He had 2 assists. I was getting there. You asked where the goal scoring was going to come from, and it's good in the first game to see it across the lineup, right? Like that's what you want to see. And you might, when you ask Pat about this, it might be kind of like how Dan said it. They're going to have to manufacture goals, right? And seeing this in game 1, it's good. You get the points on the other side, like you said. Hawk had 2 assists. Moyle, McCourt, and Andrews all had assists in this game. Again, just kind of all across the board they're getting scoring. But just like in Grand Rapids, you're seeing defensemen contribute with assists. It's a beautiful thing.
We've always had that, though. Like, our D's always been up into the play. So,
well, yeah, it's expected up there, but it's just beautiful to see that correlation between all the teams right now in this organization.
Yeah, and just to come out and find a way to win the first game, like go on the road. Indy played the night before, got shut out, and you knew they were going to come hard. But yeah, to see like your what, 4th line probably getting a goal with Llewellyn, and you get, like you said, through the lineup, guys are producing, guys are playing well. I'd like to cut down on
produced twice.
Yeah, and after the first 2, man, I was like, "Ooh, boy, this is a lot different than last year," because like they couldn't get set up, they couldn't generate much of anything, and then it finally clicked in that third period. It's like once that third period, once they kind of got rolling a little bit, they started to feel themselves a little bit, and I think that really helped them. And then 2, with it, like they just had to like get some good vibe. And I think that kill in the second period really kind of flipped the game around a little bit for him.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And you can't get through this game without talking more in depth about Carter Gylander. Like, obviously, the reason that they didn't go behind early in this game and then stood on his head for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
Except for the
Carter.
last goal and the last little bit there. It should have been a shutout.
It should have. It was kind of just a shit bounce it was a weird play, and I was like, oh man, like really, there was like no time left. I was just like, that sucks. And even the announcer was like, yeah, that should have been a shutout. But again, bad bounce, but still, Carter, like, unbelievable game from him. He played so good. He looked so poised. He looked way more like, I don't know, just mature this year, like matured in himself. Like, I think he's got that year of experience. He knows what to expect. He knows what he's going to see. He made a couple huge saves in the first and second period that like were like 10 bell saves. And I was like, man, he is dialed. And as that game went later and later, I was like, get the shutout. And then obviously the one bounce happens, but it's tough. Still a hell of a game for him to start on for the season.
Yeah, 100%. What I like about a game like this, obviously it's the first game of the season. It's a learning experience for all of them, and it's only one game. They came away with the win, but there's a lot for them to look at this week in practice and be like, all right, this is what we need to work on. And it gives them a ton to go just take to practice and grow quickly as the season starts to unfold here.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is to cut down on the penalties.
Yeah,
6 for 7. But
that's not a good thing. We don't want that. But again, it's the first game. We won't read into it too much.
I think they'll look a lot crisper as a whole next weekend in Bloomington. Now that they got some tape for what their lineup's going to look like, what are guys, pairs and stuff like that, with obviously a couple guys on 14-day IR too. So that the roster's not going to be too much change through there. But like I said, first game, just get through it. And they got through it and found a way to win. So that's the most important thing.
Yeah, 100%. Now, we do 3 stars of the week every time, and there's normally more than one game to talk about. So we do the 3 stars of the game, essentially, and we could cheat and take the 3 stars of the game from the actual game. Don't know if you're thinking that route or not.
I didn't even look at the 3 stars of the game, but I had, I would say, Hawk the 3-star, 2-assist game. I would go Carter, the 2-star. I thought he played really well. And then I'd give DENIS SMIRNOVS the 1st star.
You were close.
Was I?
Close. You had, yep. So the actual game, it was Hawk, SMIRNOVS, and Gyro.
Okay,
so
fair enough.
You're close. And those were the 3 I would pick in there, too, with an honorable mention, obviously, to Nolan Moyle for his highlight reel goal.
Yeah, Moyle gets an honorable mention for sure.
If you pick the stars just on vibes, he got it. Like, he's number 1, got it, good to go. But
I think if you pick the stars on vibes, you got to throw Darby Llewellyn in there too.
Yeah, you really do. Honestly, it's crazy. It's just the first game.
Yep.
And I wish we had more games to talk about with this. I wish there was more to go in depth and dive into with it, but there's not much. Like, we can speculate all you want from a first game, but we're not known for the speculation podcast here. We're known to try to give you it straight and analyze it as best as we can. I do want to bring up one thing around the ECHL, because like we do with the Griffins show, I kind of want to be able to talk about the ECHL a little bit. And there was a fight in the Everblades game last night. I don't remember who it was between, but he took a full victory lap after that fight.
Full victory lap. That was pretty wild stuff.
I haven't seen one of those in a minute.
Yeah.
And usually when you see that, you're like, that guy's going to get clobbered at some point tonight. But hey, there we are. And the other piece of ECHL news, too, to think about and talk about at least, is Greensboro Gargoyles, new team, started off 11,000 plus in attendance for that first game.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it helps when you have Spit and Chicklets as minority ownership. I mean, those guys alone are going to draw a big crowd of people because of their following, right? And it's pretty cool. Yeah. It is cool for them. That's cool that they are involved in something like that. Especially with Biz, he played in the Coast and was a pretty effective player in the Coast. So that's a pretty cool thing for them.
It was even funnier to see Red Savage be the guy that spoiled the home opener party for them in overtime for Jacksonville there.
Yeah.
Red Savage playing in the ECHL.
Yeah. It's like we kind of said, hey, sign with the Griffins and come to Toledo, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, I'd really like to know the inner workings of how that deal fell apart there. I really like, is he playing in the ECHL as like an injury stint type thing like 2-0 did when he came back after injury before he started his time in Grand Rapids? Like, is it a situation like that, or is he actually going to play in the ECHL, and could he have signed here and played in Toledo? Yeah. Lots of speculate that we could speculate on, but at the same time, it's I saw that highlight pop up and I was like, Sean, we got to talk.
Well, there is, funny you say that. There is one other piece too, in relevance to Toledo from last year. Remember Luke Kavlin?
Mm-hmm.
Shut out in his first game for Maine.
Shocker.
So he's just picking up right where he left off.
So he's not playing in the American League. Interesting.
No, I looked it up today because when we were talking about somebody said Providence when we were talking about the Griffins earlier. You did when you were going through the standings. You mentioned Providence, so I was like, oh, I wonder if Kavlin's playing there. And then nope, he's in Maine. Played one game, got a shutout.
Jesus Christ. Insane.
Insane. There's a few goaltenders in this league. It's crazy to me that they're not in the American League. Like, it's very surprising. Like, he's one of them. LaFontaine's another. Johnson.
Yeah.
Like, could even throw Carter's name into that mix.
Yeah.
But
and for Toledo fans too, obviously keeping an eye on the division there, looking at Fort Wayne, a former defenseman from last year on that team over there.
Jalen Smerrick.
Jalen Smerrick. Interesting first night for him, but a goal in the second night. Tatayev also had a goal in that one. A thrilling game in Kalamazoo there. I was like, oh boy, this division's going to be fun this year, I think. Yeah, I think it's going to be a little tighter than it's been in the past.
Them Toledo Fort Wayne games are going to be a lot of fun this year.
Oh, they're going to be a riot. I can't wait. If the first one in Indy showed this much like drama and tension and some violence, I can only imagine what the Fort Wayne series will bring.
I think there's going to be just more violence as a whole from Toledo this year.
Everyone loves violence.
I mean, you had a fight, some big hits. Elon's still just running into guys all over the place. Keenan running into guys. I think they're going to be a little more physical this year, and I think the fans will like that. They may not.
Yeah.
They may not go out and score 7 goals a night, but
they still might.
They might, but I think they're going to be playing a little heavier than in the past. But it's just from a distance view.
Yeah, 100%. Well, obviously, we don't have more games to talk about. Not much else going on around the ECHL that we'd want to talk about. It'd be a really short episode if we ended it here. So we might as well treat the Toledo fans to something special here, huh?
Yeah, Shane Berschbach, kind enough to stop by. You couldn't make this one. You had a work thing to attend, so you'll have to go back and listen to it. Really cool, though. Talked about his time at Western, playing for Blash, playing for Derek, playing for Waddy. I mean, he's played for a lot of good coaches, so really cool to have him on. I actually sent him a note the other day. I was like, hey, man, didn't forget about your interview. Don't worry, it's coming out next week. I was like, I was on vacation, like, right after we recorded. So, like, apologies. He goes, no worries. So, awesome guy to talk to. Really, really cool guy. Lives in Grand Rapids.
Yeah. So I can't make the interview, and he lives in the dang city with me. All right. That's how this goes. But it is always fun with these interviews that I don't get to be a part of, because then I actually have a reason to, listen to our show. I mean, I edit all the Grand Rapids episodes. I don't go back and listen to them again, because by the time you record it and edit it, you're like, I'm so sick of hearing my own voice, and I'm not going to go listen to it again, but I'll actually get to listen to an episode and tune in and hear it. So I'm excited about it. We're going to throw it to him, but first, a quick ad break. When we come back, Shane Berschbach and Travis and Nick chatting it up.
Hockey is back, and this season, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, brings you all the speed, skill, and nonstop action you love. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get paid out $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 4673. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-97777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Blue Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through of pay per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved.
Joining us today is arguably one of the best to ever put on a Walleye jersey. At the time of his retirement, he held the team's record for most games played, goals, assists, and points. He's currently enjoying retirement, but was kind enough to stop by and talk with us about his days at Western Michigan and Toledo. Thanks for joining the Hockeytown West podcast, Shane Berschbach. Shane, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Like you said, just enjoying the new chapter, right? Obviously not playing anymore, but definitely still missing, the playing days, and always good to revisit some people, especially in the town. So happy to be here.
What have you been up to at post playing days?
Right when I got done playing, I got on the ice and was doing some skills work over in the Detroit area, and then my wife and I moved to West Michigan, and for about the last 4 years, I've been doing video analysis for a bunch of different kids, age-wise, from about 13U all the way up to juniors in college. So I was able to stay in the game and still coach in a sense, right? It's all individual, it's all from home, which is pretty neat too. So yeah, it's been a really good blessing to still be able to keep my foot in the hockey game.
That's awesome to be able to still give back. I mean, I know. Did you always think that you were going to kind of do that, like after playing?
Yeah, I honestly didn't even really think about it much, like when you're playing, you really don't have, or at least I didn't, right, have like a specific plan. And the way I stopped playing was kind of just from the pandemic, right? So it kind of just hit us out of nowhere. And, I kind of took what was given to me with the on ice situation, and then kind of parlayed it into what I'm doing now, right? And I feel very, fortunate to give back in that way, right? I work with a lot of young kids and try to, guide them as a mentor, just in, life, being a good person, being a good teammate on their teams, as well as a good player, right? Because, we all don't make it to every single level that, we desire. And a lot about playing sport is kind of just learning life lessons, right? And that's really something that I enjoy kind of teaching along the way with
That's good.
Yeah, that's great stuff. To still be in the game's huge, but like to go back in time, obviously you're decked out in the Western gear. How did you end up at Western?
Geez. So if we go back to my USHL time, I was playing in Indiana when they used to have a team. It's actually where the Indy Fuel play now. That used to be their USHL rink. But I was playing there for Jeff Blashill at the time for 2 seasons. We won the Clark Cup my first year. Had a really good run in the second season. Lost to Green Bay. John Cooper was the head coach there. So some top tier talent in terms of coaching. So after that, Blash gave me kind of a heads up that he was going to be getting the Western Michigan opportunity the following year. And I just kind of figured it would be a great path to continue following him, right? I had a lot of good success, was given a lot of good opportunities playing for him. He trusted me as a player. So I knew I would kind of, set myself up even in a way to maybe even get on the ice as a freshman, right? Maybe in a little bit different spots, going to, a bigger school, right? It was kind of a smaller school, still is, right? So I had kind of that opportunity to step right in and play right away. Right. And that was, a big part of it as well. But mainly because I really trusted the coach. Right. And Glash, what I was to say, I pretty much the main reason I went there. And then it ended up being the best decision ever. Love that spot. It was just an awesome brotherhood culture. Guys love going there because they love being Broncos. And, that's a big part of it there. They don't go for, the flash and all that. They go for, the locker rooms, the fields, the success they're starting to have as well on a consistent basis. So it's awesome to see it, come what it's become these last few years.
How was it playing for Blash?
It was good. It was a culture shock for sure. I mean, going from AAA hockey to the junior level. I remember it was a new team going into that too. They only had 2 returning guys, I think, from the year before. He knew right away he needed to kind of change the culture and, set the standard right away. And once I became part of that, it was just obvious why we had success. And like, you just got everyone to buy in on the same thing. And with team success is going to come your personal success. Everyone's going to get their opportunities to, go to the next level. But he put in a lot of, things we needed to do as a team that he knew would bring us success. Right. And that's the biggest thing that I learned about the game of hockey was just how much really goes into it rather than just scoring points, right? And he really taught me how to become like a full 200-foot hockey player, and forever grateful for that.
What did you enjoy the most while you were there at Western?
Geez, there's a lot of stuff, right? The student section, right, is second to none there, right? The Lost and Lunatics. Getting to play there every other Friday, Saturday night is pretty special. And but like I said, just the way the school kind of comes together, supports each other. The foundation that we had at Western for hockey was up there with all the other programs as well. Right? Like I said, it doesn't get all the recognition I think it probably even deserved at that time. Right. But it was the same as, being at a big time 10 school or whatever it was back then. So I think just having that little chip on your shoulder too, though, that, you weren't always the favorite and, but we knew that we had, the capability to compete with those big schools and be one of the top tier programs. So we took a lot of pride in that and, wanting to bring Bronco hockey to, nationwide. So we took a lot of pride in that and just love kind of building that up kind of year by year there.
How special was it last year to follow that run that they went on?
It was awesome. I met my wife at Western Michigan. We have that obviously connection. Her parents both went there. Her sister and her husband both went there. So we were watching the regional games. I think it was going up to if they were going to make the Frozen Four, and as soon as they won that regional game, we booked our tickets. We drove down there. We took my two kids. We spent, I think, from Thursday till Sunday there. I got to watch them beat Denver in the double OT game, which was unreal, right? Just that moment of it could have went either way, right? But, just getting over that hump, I think they've been knocking on the door the last few seasons. And, I think it was only a matter of time. And I don't think we could have left it to chance with not going. So, super happy that we did that. And, we got to go back to the hotel after and celebrate in a huge, conference room with the team and see the trophy and, kind of be part of that as alumni too was really cool. And that's something that, going back to your other question, is so cool about Western. Like, I've been even more proud to be a Bronco since the day I left, right? Like, it kind of just stays with you. We go back there as a group every summer for an alumni outing that seems like it gets bigger and bigger every year, right? So that kind of a treatment we get as alumni is really special too. They were giving us all sorts of gear down there, right? Like you're part of this too. You guys deserve this. So that's just how what kind of a school that is. So it's awesome.
That's fantastic to be able to like go down there and be part of it. Like you probably didn't have that expectation going down there. You're just going down there to watch the team and then kind of be part of that celebration.
Yeah, 100%. And they were even giving us, access to come watch practice during, their off days when the rink was just empty. They let us come out there, come check out the locker room and all that type of stuff. And kind of, like I said, give us that little bit of an experience too. Right. We obviously wanted to let those guys enjoy it in their moment, right? Like that team was the team to do it. Right. But to still, they were putting up watch parties for us all over town at bars. Like, this is the Western destination. And we go there and they have our band there, the mascot. My kids were going nuts about the mascot, Buster. So just kind of all the stuff they did that they really didn't, weren't forced to do, but they knew that, we wanted to be there and support them. So they made us feel at home. It was awesome.
It's super cool too to be able to like bring your kids along with you. I don't know how old they are, but it was probably pretty special to be able to do that.
Yeah, they're 6 and almost 5. So, they're younger than, at least when I was playing, right? Like one of them wasn't even born and the other one was just, 1 year old or so. So they definitely, I think we'll remember that one probably more than my playing days and stuff like that. So, but we got tons of pictures, right? That'll live on forever. And I'll never let them hear the end of it either way. So.
For when you were playing, how special was it to win the CCHA while you were at Western?
Yeah, that was awesome. Right, the CCHA was kind of the conference I grew up watching, growing up in Detroit. Right, the Michigan State, Notre Dame, right, Ohio State, all of those teams. It was a really tough conference. Fair State was very good then too. Right, and just kind of growing up watching that. And then, that first year we ended up making a really good run. Actually, freshman year, we lost to the finals and to a really good Miami of Ohio team. And then the next year, we ended up getting them in the semifinals and ended up beating them there and then got to face U of M at the old Joe Louis Arena. Right. So can't really ask for anything more. Right. Like one of the coolest atmospheres ever, bunch of Western people. And again, right, no one expected us to probably win that game, right, against Michigan at Joe Louis Arena. But we were able to, cap it off that year and, really make that official statement that, we were here, team to be reckoned with in that division. So super special. We got that picture back there is our team photo from when we won that. Right. And again, I still tell that story to everybody, right? They're probably sick of hearing it, but it was awesome and, a super cool accomplishment that I'll hopefully ever be very proud of.
Western's kind of going into kind of a newer era now with the new arena coming out. Have you been able to go back currently? I know you're close, you're up here in Grand Rapids, but have you been going back to watch the games outside of the regular season or outside of the playoffs from last year? And are you going to go out there more with the new stadium?
Yeah, my wife's parents actually lived right down there the last few years, so we made quite a few trips down there last season. They were season ticket holders, and still have some connections with the coaching staff. Ferschweiler was my assistant all 4 years, and even JJ Crew, one of their assistants, was my teammate when we won the CCHA. So still have a lot of good connections there, and I love going back there as much as I can. So yeah, I definitely I go down there pretty much probably 5 times a season or something like that, catch some good games. My neighbors are big rival Michigan fans, so we make some trips down there when they play Michigan as well, and kind of share that experience. And they've learned to really appreciate what Bronco hockey is as well, right? They were kind of never really never seen it in person, right? And when they saw Lawson, they were like, "Holy smokes, man! Like now I know what you're talking about. You're not all talk." So it's been really cool, and the new rink's obviously going to be amazing, right? That's kind of been the difference, right, with Western. Is they had an old barn and stuff like that. So I think the time has come, right? The money's obviously a big part of the game of college now, right? So it's important to kind of keep up in that regard too, right? Because again, that stuff is appealing, right, to the younger generations coming up, and obviously is a huge recruiting tool, right? So very, very excited for that to be done. And yeah, I can't wait to go see some games there as well.
It's crazy going to college hockey. Like the fans are just nuts. And you see it all the time on football, but then when you get it inside of a rink, there's so much more energy on it. So we've been really big on kind of the college side, and we'll probably be going. I know I've got some Western games on the calendar this year, and we were just talking to Sturts over at Penn State. So got to make a trip out to see him as well. So
yes, sir. It's you won't be disappointed. You should get there before the Lawson closes, because it's a cool experience itself to go to for sure.
We're looking forward to it. How did you end up in Toledo then, going after Western?
Yeah, so going back to my boy Jeff Blashill, he ended up going to Detroit after my first year at Western. But then by the time I was a senior, he was the head coach of the Griffins in Grand Rapids. So I had a pretty good senior season at Western, and I put myself in a good spot to be looked at by a few American League teams, and Blash was one of them. And he had a good connection with Derek Malone, right, who was going to be walking into his first year as the Toledo head coach. And he thought Blash was saying I would be a good opportunity to kind of sign a 2-way contract. I had him up there to have as a support system, and obviously a goal to maintain and to reach. And then I had a really good option, even if I was down in Toledo, with Derek, right? And he knew the situation and the organization. He's like, if you're going to the coast, this is where you want to, right? And I knew, my chances were more likely probably towards the East Coast, being on a 2-way deal. Right. But it's definitely kind of steered my direction right from leaving college. Got to stay West Michigan with GR, and then Toledo was pretty close to Michigan. So pretty big no-brainer in my eyes.
How was playing with Derek, or playing for Derek Malone?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was very similar kind of situation with Blash, right? He walked into a new team. That was his first season. So very clear and understanding on what the expectations and roles were for everyone, right? Obviously gave us our freedom to play in our, skill sets within his system. Great communicator in the locker room, right? Kept everyone involved, even if, maybe guys weren't in the lineup as much. Everyone really felt like a part of the team, right? And he obviously was a big part of that, and picked a great leadership group to steer us in the right direction, with Jared Nightingale leading the way back then. So we had a lot of good leaders in that room along with Coach Derek. So it was a good experience to walk into with pro hockey, though. I couldn't have asked for a better guy to play with.
What made it so special playing in Toledo?
I mean, a lot of things, right? Obviously, the fans, the electricity in the arena, right? It feels like a three-letter league, right, all day, and that's, I think, what draws a lot of guys there to especially stay there, right, and kind of make a career there, and even a lot of guys even end up starting families and even stay there, right? I played with Simone Denis, Kyle Bonus, Hirsch. He's obviously more of a Toledo native, but those other guys, right, and even Hawk now too, right? All those guys were not, really even familiar with Toledo, I'm sure, before they, moved there, and obviously, kind of felt that loving city kind of community, right? The welcomeness from everyone. And that's something that I felt when I came back to watch the game this past playoff season, was just the people around the rink, right? Like from the people we see at the parking garage to the greeters at the doors to the, caterers in the back. Everybody was just kind of part of what made Toledo, Toledo. Right. And like I said, obviously the fan base too, but again, just the professionalism too, from top to bottom on the organization. We're treated very well there. Right. So again, it goes a long way, right? When you're in the minors and guys are deciding, whether they want to stay, go to Europe, right? Take other opportunities in the East Coast League, right? Whatever it is. It's a hard place to really just say, yeah, I'm done with, right? That's easy to say in a lot of East Coast League cities, I think, and kind of organizations. So that's something that they pride themselves in, and that's obviously why guys continue to go back there, right? And it's obviously continuing to get better and better every year since I was even there. So it's unreal.
You played a few seasons in Toledo. What was give us like your top 3 favorite memories of being there?
Jeez, my probably favorite moment was that Kelly Cup year when we finally made it and got over that hump of losing in the conference finals, and then getting that first home game. I think it was game 3 against Newfoundland, right? But Janksy and I still remember it. I think we were actually on the bench to start the game, and we kind of looked at each other, and this place was just rocking, right? Shaking, literally. The white out, the towels, right? So that, again, 3-letter league stuff written all over it, and that's just what makes it so special. So I would say that would be my top moment. But other than that, just the guys I was able to play with, and the relationships I was able to form there, right, with this coaching staff, the equipment guys, the trainers, right, still obviously in touch with all of those guys. And yeah, I would say the city, right? Just kind of that little bit of the block downtown, right? Like it's a special little spot, right? You got the Hens right there, Toledo Walleye right there, and then it all kind of comes together with the entertainment industry down there. So obviously a great place to be, right? And yeah, I think just all of those things, are pretty much up there with my favorites.
I remember that third game was crazy. And I remember too in game 5, I felt like you guys played with like that, not in our house at least. Like you just there was no way you guys were going to lose that game.
Yeah.
And the energy was insane. Like that was the first ever like finals games that I had been to. So I couldn't imagine what it was like to even play in those.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. And yeah, like you said, that game 5, right? Like Newfoundland could have won the Kelly Cup on our ice, right? And that was something that, we weren't gonna let happen. Right. And again, like I think I heard Coach Pat talk about it, right? And just being so close to winning it, right? And then the American League, right? Guys get sent down to certain teams at certain times, right? Like the Coast, it's a different beast in terms of, having the same team like all the way through, right? Like a whole new team can kind of pop up in a playoff round, right? It's crazy. So that sucked, right? For sure. We faced a hell of a Newfoundland team that year, right? Like they were very, very good, right? And we gave them all they could handle, right? The first 2 games, I think, went into OT there, right? So again, one shot either way. We come home 0-2. It was a tough spot, right? But again, we were right there. Made a statement game 3. Game 4, I think we lost again last minute or something, like 1-goal game, late goal. And then, yeah, game 5 we took. And then I think even game 6, we made a good push at the end and they ended up beating us 5 goals. You're right there a lot, and it does take, a lot for it to happen, right? And it was unfortunate, but man, I'll never forget those games, that series, even just the feeling of that city getting to that final, right? Even though we didn't come out with it, I know, they appreciated, our efforts, and obviously not the result, right? But again, at the end of the year party, the fans, right? Like they're there if you win, you lose. And then the next season, they're there opening night. So special there.
Is that kind of why Toledo's like the NHL of the coast, like you say, a 3-letter league, like just with how unique it is, like, and with how you guys get treated, like, does that all just factor into it?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's why, like I said, guys go back for not just like 2 years. They end up going for, 3, 4, 5, 6 Hawks on year, like 12, right? Whatever it is. But again, that's why, right? And again, the treatment, the upper management, obviously all the way from them top down, right? They ask us things, at the end of each season too, how they can be better, how they can improve, and our development and things like that. So yeah, you could tell they appreciate it, right? And they care, right? And that's a big part about it. So yeah,
I think that has to go into it too. Is like with that league, you're literally rebuilding a team every season. Like we've talked to Pat multiple times, and he's like, we're getting players, we're re-signing, we're getting other guys, we're scouting, and so for them to continue to have that success to get to the finals or get to the playoffs, I just think that's so crazy to continue to have to be able to do that. So like, on the outside of the organization, like they're doing something correct, right? To be able to draw these people in, to get these players in, and to be able to have the successes as they have had.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that kind of comes, I think, with how they want to get better, right? After each season too, and they're not complacent, right? They're always kind of looking for things that, they can tweak, even if they're already good, right? How can it be better? And things like that. So, and again, we're not making a ton of money in that league, right? So when those things are factored in, it's a huge bonus, right? In terms of, decision making. So yeah, that's, they do a great job of it. And obviously, like you said, I think, I don't know, 3 years in a row, something now they've been in the final 2 years in a row. So obviously something's working, right? It's almost just like a matter of time here, but obviously that's not easy. So they actually has to keep, the staff obviously is, tremendous too. They take a lot of pride in who they hire, right? They don't just go out and hire random people. They do their homework on their coaches. And obviously that's why when these guys come in, they're just picking up where the last guy left off and obviously elevating.
Kind of moves right into our next question. So you played with a lot of great coaches. So we want to talk a little bit about Dan Watson. How was it playing for him? You have any funny stories, anything, any ammunition you could give us?
Oh man, not too many funny stories, I'd say, but not to say that Waddy's not a funny guy or an awesome guy. Waddy was awesome. Again, he was my assistant when I came in for Coach Derek, so got him right away too. And then I was just hoping, once Coach Newsy left that, he'd get that next job. So super grateful that he did. And again, same, mentality as the other two coaches I was talking about with Blashill and Malone, right? Very, direct and laid the foundation. Again, wants to have success, right? Like demands it. So again, just gets your respect, but again, has the biggest open door policy, loves everybody, wants everyone to be involved. And again, I couldn't say much good things about that guy, right? He's unreal. So I don't have any ammo for you. No, I don't.
Yeah. Nobody ever does. Nobody can tell us any funny stories. He's just been very low key, very professional, very coach. We've been working with him for 2 years now, and he's a tough cookie to crack.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. He's professional, right? When we're on the road, he does his business. He's out to eat. He's home, right? So again, it's he does his job and he's very good at it, and that's why he's continuing to have the success he's having.
You were on the team that kind of started this whole run, like. Your first year, basically, you guys formulated a culture that basically is carried over for almost 10 years. What went into building that culture, and how does it just continuously carry over every year?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. I think with Coach Derek, again, when he came in there, he picked a lot of good veteran pieces that he knew we were going to need that year as a new team, right, and a new coach and all of that type of stuff. He went out and got Jeff Lurk, who was obviously, one of the best Toledo goalies ever. His competitiveness, his leadership, right, he was a true professional from day one, right, so that he was a great guy for me to come into and learn from. Same with Niter, right, he was our captain that year. So I think a lot of us young guys kind of walked into nice situation, right? We had Justin Mercier, a guy that played a ton of American League games. A lot of these guys that have just been pros for a long time and were successful, right? And we had great leadership to look up to that year. And I think all of us kind of realized the opportunity we had there with the fan base, with, the arena, with our access there, training, all of that, that we could, do something special. So I think it brought us together quickly, excuse me. And, we were able to, play as a team, right? And I think that too, with the team success, the individual stuff will come. And that's hard to get a group of guys to agree to, right? Especially in the coast when everyone's trying to jump up and, essentially leave that league, right? But he made it very clear when we're there as Toledo Walleye, we're playing for the Toledo Walleye, right? We have guys down from Grand Rapids, we got guys from wherever, right? So again, it was about that logo when we were in that room, and I think we all got on board with that. And then we had that run going that first year, and then a lot of the core guys came back that second year, right? I think 5 or 6 of us, and then that kind of stayed for a couple years, and we were just kind of able to elevate each season and get a little bit deeper and kind of chip away at, getting to that final goal. So I think, but that first year, just the staff, the coaches we had, the leaders, I think they really set the foundation that year.
So you mentioned, and I want to get the coach that had said this to you, is like, when you're there in Toledo, you are a walleye. Who was that?
I think it was Lalone, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Because I think it was pretty early on, and we had a lot of draft picks that year and stuff. We had, I think, Marty Firk down and stuff like that. Merrick Taverden, I think, was on that team too, right? And we had guys, and I was even guilty of it when I was down in Toledo. Like, guys that get sent down, we'd be wearing, GR hoodies or something like that in the Toledo locker room, right? And I don't think we got Gitch that time, so it was a little earlier before we were getting all this swag and stuff. Right away, as soon as they saw guys wearing those, I think Lalone had like our equipment guy make up all Toledo Walleye hoodies, and they were all hanging in our stall the next day. And I think that set that tone. But I'm pretty sure it was Lalone really early on. Wasn't having it.
The reason I bring it up is because Dan Watson says it a lot in the press conferences, and when we talk with him, he says this a lot. So I was wondering if it came from Dan, if it came from Derek, who really started this this culture setting is what I should say.
I think it was probably honestly both of them, because Dan was Derek's assistant then, right? So I think they both probably felt pretty similar in that regard, right? So because it is tough, right? It's the minors, and guys want to obviously get out of there, but that again, it's hard to get young guys to understand the whole process of it all, right? And obviously they knew that with that, we're all going to try to have the best chance to get where we.
So so you still hold one of the season records for Toledo hockey of 68 assists in a season. Talk us through that season. Like, how was it for you? What do you think it'll ever be broken?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was a crazy season. I think we scored like 6-7 goals a game that year. Like, that was our average, right? So, but again, it was the guys around me too, right? Like the finishers I've played with are crazy. Josh Kestner. I mean, back then I played with probably a bunch of different wingers, from Zach Nastasiak, Dane Walters. The Spink twins were on our team that year, right? So we were very offensive, right? And I think everything just was going in that year for us too, right? But again, I think it was just the kind of foundation we've built leading up to that too. Just this success we've had, the confidence, but again, the players around me were a huge part of it, right? So again, it was a great record to have, and hopefully Hawk leaves that one for me, but we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. It was cool. It was crazy. I still can't even believe it sometimes. It's almost like an assist a game or something, which I've never done, obviously. So that was super special for me.
Was it something you were trying to accomplish? Were you trying to set a record at all? Like, was it any part of your mind was like, I'm shooting for this season?
I wouldn't say I like set a goal or anything like that in terms of a number. I thought my job and role in Toledo was to produce, right? And there was guys that would be brought in for other reasons, right? For grit, for toughness, right? For whatever it is. But I took a lot of pride in being a production guy because I was smaller. I couldn't, be that big of a physical presence, right? So again, I took a lot of pride in that, and it kind of just ended up happening, honestly.
There's one night that for Toledo fans, they got to kind of reminisce in the Storm days versus Kansas City in 2018. Take us through that game. And I don't think you were on the ice, were you?
No, I wasn't, luckily.
What was it like just being there and witnessing that? Especially when, was it Patterson went all the way to the other end?
So, yeah, I think it was actually, I think it was Nietupski.
Or yeah, Mahovsky, sorry.
Mahovsky.
Yeah.
So, another cool relation there is he was a European goalie, right? Drafted by the Red Wings. And he was playing that night, probably not super happy about being in the East Coast League, but going back to that Toledo culture, right? He was down at the other end of that game, or when that happened, and he could have stayed in his net, right? But he saw the melee going on, the madness, and he got down there and he, did what he had to do there. So that was a big memory I have from that, especially when, the helmets were coming off with the tendies. But yeah, just that's just kind of what happened. I don't even remember really what started it, to be honest, but we had some bad blood with those guys. I remember Crispy had a few numbers, that he was obviously not happy with too from previous incidents. So I think it was kind of escalating, and when it happened, it happened, and it was wild, right? Like the Bob Menery stuff back then, he was just starting it, and the voiceovers with that incident was crazy. So, but yeah, don't have much for you on the experience of it, so I was just a spectator like you guys.
Got to sit back and enjoy it.
Yes, for sure.
Did it be there was any locker? Well, what was the locker room talk afterwards? I guess.
Yeah, just a lot of yelling, a lot of hugging, right, and a lot of enjoyment, I think, right? Even if you got smacked, if you won your match, whatever it was, everyone was just together after, and kind of just brings you together even more as a unit when things happen like that. So it's a team building moment, right? It's a situation no one plans for, right? You just react in the moment and obviously stand up for your brothers. So that's what we all kind of took away from that.
I want to fast forward a little bit. What made the 2018-19 season so special for you?
Is that which season is?
That's the finals year.
Oh, the year we made it to the finals. Okay.
Yeah. In a whole, outside of that, just what made that year so unique for you guys?
Yeah, I think again, just that process of knowing that we can get there. It's just, will we, right? So I think kind of getting to that playoff run again and kind of tightening up in a lot of situations that maybe we weren't as good on earlier seasons prior. So I think just kind of the camaraderie too, though, right? And again, I don't think it was anything specific. I think it was just doing the right things consistently, right? And we've done that a lot years prior, right? It just kind of didn't go in our favor. We had a couple game sevens in those conference finals. So I think just getting to that finals was the coolest part for me, and just kind of getting to experience, what it is like to be in a final, and kind of feeling the elevation and intensity shift even in that series, right? Like I thought I played the highest level of East Coast hockey, and then once you get to that finals, it just kind of everyone elevates even, right? And it kind of just felt like almost a different league at that point, right? Everyone was doing everything right, and that was a really good experience too, to obviously play for something in a professional league, no matter what league it was.
That next year, you guys are really starting to find your groove, and then the season gets wiped out from underneath you guys. Just take us through how devastating that had to be.
Yeah, that's still kind of can't believe it almost, right? Like the way it went down, right? I think we played one game against Cincinnati with 0 fans or something like that, and then the next day they called us and told us they were shutting down, and it's obviously out of our hands, right? And nothing we could really do at that point. The whole entire world and league shut down at that point, and then going into it the next year, I think there was a few of us that had some hope that we were going to play, that year, and then we ended up not getting to play, and then that kind of let down. So it was tough. Right? It was really tough. I started a new chapter in my life with my wife. We started having kids, and it was time. Right? We needed to make some more money. I did, at least. She was obviously doing her thing, but I needed to, step up and kind of, start providing and kind of, making that next shift. But that team going into it that season or during that season was probably just as special as the one before, right? When we made it to the finals with when we had Josh Kessner there, Josh Winquist, we had a ton of really, really good players and, a team definitely good enough to make another run. So I think that was probably the hardest part, just not knowing what could have been, right? And we'll never know. So that's, that was tough. And then that retiring me was just, unfortunate, right? But nothing I can do. And, that is what it is.
It seemed like everything was clicking when that pause happened too, because like I think Kessner had 37 goals and it was only March.
Yeah.
You guys had Nagel to start the year. He gets called up and then they make the trade for Christopoulos and he only lost 3 games from when he got to town.
Right. Yeah. And that's another thing. We had the pieces with the goalies too. Like Nags probably might ended up coming back to us at some point throughout the playoffs if GR lost, or I think he was at GR then, but with Billy, right, stepped right in and was unbelievable. And Kessner was lighting it up. I think he was, top 4 or something in scoring, even in the league at that time. And we were right there at top of the division like we've been the previous years. And it just felt like another, opportunity to go. And then we just didn't get it. So it was brutal, man. I hated it. I hated it. I still think about it today. It's brutal.
The one thing you brought up, so you played at Western, great fan base, played in front of them. Play at Toledo, we know the fan base and how crazy they are. And then you guys open the next season play with nobody in front of you, right? Behind you. What was that experience of play with no fans?
The last game of that year?
Yeah.
It was weird. I mean, that was day 1 of COVID or whatever. So we didn't really know what to expect. And, we kind of just tried to make the most of it. I think all of us and Cincy were skating around, just making our own noises in warm-ups just to get some noise going on in there. But, it wasn't very fun, right? So going from those fan bases and it's just, it's just feels like a practice game, right? It doesn't feel really meaningful. And it just, goes to show you how much fans, right, mean to sport, right? Because that was like that in every sport all over, right? None of them were probably very fun to play in as the players. So it was not fun, and definitely thankful for the fan bases I have gotten to play in front of. That's been awesome.
Take that, so you got to experience it once, and then the NHL went into the bubble and did a whole Stanley Cup playoffs with no fans. Could you even imagine what that would have been like? Because you have to bring your own energy.
Yeah. Oh, it was crazy that, to see those guys to ramp up their own energy like that. And obviously, like you said, create it. So it would have been tough, right? I only got 1 game. So I think with, the circumstances, obviously you learn to adapt and, try to find those, highs in different situations without the crowd. So I think, I just never really got to have that opportunity, right, to obviously play more than the 1. But I couldn't imagine it was anything like playing with them. And I think Cooper even said that when he won his second the year out of the bubble, right, when they were selling at home with the fans, with the cup, right, and how last year they were saying, how's this different or whatever, and he's just we didn't have this, and kind of just looked around and just that full energy, the full support of a city, right, getting to obviously enjoy that and celebrate with you is, why you do it. So they make it, right? Fans are what makes sports sports.
So many guys go play overseas. Why you stayed at Toledo? What kept you here at Toledo?
Yeah, I think I just was so comfortable. I think and happy, right? I didn't really look elsewhere. I had some good opportunities, especially early on in my career overseas, but just nothing wasn't as tempting to go back to Toledo, right? And I've been with my wife for close to 10 years now, dating. So we've been married for 6. So she was always nearby as well. And she, was doing her full-time job, and it would have been hard for her to go over there as well. So I always wanted to stay close to her as well. right? But again, that situation was really more based on hockey, and I was just loving where I was. I was happy. I wanted to win a Kelly Cup in Toledo, right? I truly did. And I felt like we actually had that possibility, right? And if I didn't think we had that possibility on a year-to-year basis, I probably would have left. But I knew we had that team, the organization to give us what we needed to do that. And that's why I've continued to come back year after year.
And to kind of wrap things up, like your decision to retire, was it partially in fact that you basically were just like told you're not playing this year? Like what?
No, I think it was a few things. I think it was the not playing the back-to-back seasons, right? Like not having that COVID year when I think like Fort Wayne ended up winning it that year, unfortunately, right? When half the league played or whatever. So, yeah, but the kids too. I had 2 kids by that time. My second one was on the way, and we had them when we were living in Toledo, right up to the point where the season was canceled. So at that point, my wife was commuting up to Michigan to work. We were living in Toledo, so yeah, it was just time. I think if I wasn't married with 2 kids, probably would have stuck it out for another couple years. But that was the time and place for me. It felt right. It was unfortunate the way it ended, right, with COVID, but again, that's something that just happened that I have to live with. And it's still propelled me to do everything that I've ever wanted to do after hockey, which is, be some sort of coach and still stay in the game. And obviously what I accomplished there and the success we had as a team has helped my resume in that way so much. Right. So I think I'll ever be forever grateful there. And yeah, it was just time given my time in my life. No one ever wants to retire, but there's just other things in life that come first before your wants, right? So you need to turn the page at that time and take care of your business. So that's what I had to do.
Is there anything that you want to share? Anything we didn't ask you? Anything you want to tell the listeners or the viewers out there for either Western or Toledo or even Grand Rapids? Any crazy stories that you had that maybe we weren't able to bring up or we forgot?
No, I'd say just the only thing is just thank you to all the cities because they were all so special to me and kind of made me the person I am today and the dad I am, the husband I am, from all the people, from the cities, like I said, to the rinks. It, all just wanted to make you be the best version of yourself all the time. And I'll always be grateful for that and the fan bases, right? Like it's just nuts how fortunate I was to get to play where I got to play. And, when I was a kid, I never thought it would have even got to this point. So just super grateful for what hockey's given me in general, right? And obviously those cities, Kalamazoo, Toledo, Grand Rapids, even Indiana, they all played such a significant role and chapter and, what kind of led into the next one. So just super grateful and super happy where it's taken me. So, yeah.
I think from a fan's perspective, we can't thank, you enough and for what all you gave Toledo. And, you always hear about with a culture, leave it in a better place than you found it. And I think you could say you accomplished that here. So thank you to not only you for your years here, but ultimately, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. And I appreciate it all. And like you said, I love keeping in contact with all the old Toledo guys and, parts of the city, right? Like you guys and people downtown and at the rink. So couldn't be happier to join you guys. And I'm sure I'll be down in Toledo this coming season. So
we'll have to catch up with you either at a Griffins game or at a Western game as well. So
yeah, no doubt. Let me know when you guys are coming to town for sure.
And welcome back to just Travis and myself here. Takeaways from that interview, man. Obviously, I'm still wearing the same thing I was wearing when we started talking. I haven't listened to it still yet, so I got to lean on you for this part of the show, buddy.
It was really cool. He was a pleasure to talk to. Talk about his time at Western, the game with no fans. That was interesting to hear his perspective from that. And then just some of the guys he's played with, like just a hell of a player that guy was, man. He's one of the best to ever put on that uniform. So still holds the assist record. Well, that's going to be a
Hawk
tough
hasn't
one.
taken it from him yet.
Hawk's too good of a shooter to, I think, have 68 assists. Like,
That's a tough record to break, right?
that's going to be hard, man. I think
that's going to be an elite season of passing right there for somebody.
I think he even said, like, Huck's going to have to leave that one for me or something. I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but it was quite funny. Obviously, they know each other. Yeah, no, that would be, he even said, like, that year was nuts. Like, it just seemed like every time I passed it, somebody, it was going in the net. Like, he's basically had an assist a game, like, which is nuts to think about.
That's an insane stat line right there.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I think we did talk about a little bit was that 1920 team, the year after they went to the finals and lost. Then COVID came, and dude, I think if there was a team that probably would have done it, that probably would have been the team to do it. Like,
yeah, you tell me that all the time, and I'm like, dang it.
Like, it's no, like, disrespect to the teams that, like, didn't get it done later, like last year's team or the 22-23 team or the, you know, the other teams that haven't got it done, right? But that everything was going so good for that team, and it was like, what, March when that shutdown happened. And dude, Kessner had like 36 goals, and it was the beginning of March. Like,
that's insane.
Like, dude, I'm telling you, he probably would have got 50. Like, he would have probably got 50 that year. They had Patty Nags. Nags goes up to GR. They trade for Billy. Billy's like 22-3-1 in like 26, 27 starts. It was like they just weren't going to lose. It was silly. And then the pause happens, and then the next day the season's over. And like, that team was stacked. It was so good. Winquist. It was just a good team. It was crazy.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, I appreciate him for stopping by, man. That's another one we've been wanting to do for a little while. And I'm sad I missed it, but I do appreciate him taking the time to do it. And I can't wait to fully listen to it. Outside of that, I don't think I have anything else besides that. If you were listening to the broadcast of the first game, got a little shout out there, didn't we, Travis?
Yeah, that was cool. Shout out to Simone Denis for name dropping us like that. That was pretty cool. That was a very cool thing. And I even got a text from a buddy who's like, I literally heard it and went to text you, and you had already texted me. I was like, well, I just was like I had my phone because I was like clipping too, and I was like, it just was in my hand already.
Yeah. No, you said that clip to us, and I didn't get to watch it till we went out after the game last night. And I was like, that's freaking cool. So I appreciate that. Thank you. That was we don't do this for that, but when you hear it, you're just like, oh, it makes you smile.
Yeah, it's just like a little rewarding thing, right? So that was really
reward.
Cool. Yeah, it's like a reward. No, it was really cool. I know all three of us really appreciated that. And again, that's something he didn't have to say. So huge thank you to him.
Yeah, 100%. This just goes back to why we love covering this team and working with this team. They're so kind to us, and they just make our job so much easier, honestly. Before we wrap this one up, just a reminder that Toledo is on the road again this weekend in Bloomington. You got games Friday and Saturday, so we at least got 2 games to talk about next week, which is exciting, and then they're idle again until the home opener against Indy on the 1st. 2 more games between now and then. I know T-Town's getting excited, getting ramped up, ready for that home opener. I know it's going to be a great crowd. I hope that there was some way I could make it down there. Work is not lining up in my favor, unfortunately, but who knows? Miracles have happened, and last-minute decisions to go to Toledo have happened multiple times from this brain right here. So who knows? Maybe. But with that, we'll wrap this one up. Thank you all for tuning in. As always, of course, before we go, we got to thank our sponsors, DraftKings and Everything Hockey Clothing Company. When you're betting with DraftKings, use code THPN. And when you're shopping at everythinghockey.com, use code WEST to save a few bucks off your order. And it also supports the show directly. Anyone who's used that code already, we appreciate it. Thank you. And of course, also make sure if you haven't yet, hit subscribe on YouTube, hit follow wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you're following us on the social media pages at Hockeytown W Pod so you can get updates and clips and all the other fun stuff we post on there. Been posting like mad on there, I feel like, this past couple of weeks. It's been crazy, but it's been also a lot of fun to see the new engagement, so many new faces to interact with. So everyone who's already followed, we appreciate it. Like I said, if you're not yet, at Hockeytown W Pod on all social media platforms to be able to stay up to date with us. But of course, also, we got to thank our Patreon subscribers too before we go. We cannot forget them. And if you want to join these lovely folks, head over to patreon.com/HockeytownWest podcast to check out the tiers that we offer there. And to thank the current people we have there, newcomer, Peter Greel. I don't know how to pronounce Peter's last name. Peter's going to have to tell me so we can clarify that. Drop us a message, drop a comment, Peter. I'm sorry. We're trying, but appreciate you joining us over there. joining Joe Schroeder. Bryson DeChambeau is elite. I still want to talk about that name. Tyler Ingles, John in Florida, Elaine Grace, Griffin not from GR, Randy Zick, Derek Sleazer, Lorian Allen, and Michael Asante. Thank you all for the love and support as always. And like I said before, if you want to join them, head over to patreon.com/HockeytownWest podcast. Well, Trav, we got these done early this week. Hopefully no breaking news happens. I feel like this is a curse doing this like this, and something is going to change and happen. But hopefully it doesn't. If it does, we'll throw an update in there. But if it doesn't, we'll talk to you again next week. And everybody else, as always, go Griffins, go Walleye. We'll talk to y'all again soon.
Thank you for tuning in to the Hockeytown West podcast. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at HockeytownWPod and your hosts, Nick at GR Hockey Guy, Brandon at Brandon GR Hockey, and Travis at Trav in T-Town.